I mean, just get rid of all the bats. I mean, that would fix all the outbreaks. We could just herd the tiny little vampires into... What good do bats do anyways?
It's not for mortals like us to tamper with the laws of nature.
Roll the intro. What's up, science nerds? As you've probably guessed, we're looking at bats and coronaviruses today because bats likely spread coronavirus but don't get sick. So scientists literally call them reservoirs of disease, and by reservoirs they're actually talking about cesspools. But you're just talking about bats and coronavirus because it's trending right now. Yes I am. Buy my merch. I don't even have merch. But seriously, I'm not here to talk about what we don't know like all the other phonies. I'm here to talk about what we actually do know about bats and coronaviruses. For people who might actually know a thing or two about the topic, the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Now I know there's a bit of a hoo-ha at the moment about whether they might have actually invented the current coronavirus, but I think conspiracy heads can just calm down a little now. But strap yourselves in because we're digging into a journal article from March 2019 that was penned by the Woovie. See what I did there? I put Wuhan and virology together to make Woovie, making science great again. This fascinating article talks about the threat of a coronavirus outbreak in China before the current one had even happened. They even mention bats, and they even mention the Hubei province, which is where the current coronavirus outbreak broke loose in 2019. But remember, this article was published in March 2019, 9 months before this even started. Get out! Alright, let's nerd out. Over the last 20 years, we've actually had 3 coronavirus pandemics that all stemmed from animals. They're what we call zoonotic viruses. These are viruses that transfer from animals to humans to cause disease. In 2003, we had SARS, the severe acute respiratory syndrome, that had a mortality rate of about 10%. In 2012, we got MERS, the Middle East respiratory syndrome, with a fatality rate around 35%, and it actually spread into 27 different countries. And both these diseases actually killed many people. Skipping forward to 2017, and then we've got SARS, which is the swine acute diarrhea syndrome, which killed more than 20,000 piglets. I don't know whether you say SARS or SARS, but it actually makes me really sad when I think about all the piglets that probably died from this disease. Coronaviruses have also caused disease in minks and whales. One thing these viruses all have in common is they are all coronaviruses, and 2 of them actually originated from China, where there is a bonkers loads of bats. Heap load of bats. So it's only fair to assume that the latest fatal outbreak that's occurred in China has come from, you guessed it, bats. I mean, check this line from the journal article from March last year. Thus, it is highly likely that future SARS and MERS-like coronavirus outbreaks will originate from bats, and there is an increased probability that this will occur in China. I should point out here though that coronaviruses aren't actually something new. There's actually 4 types of coronaviruses we know of that pretty much cause the common cold. Geez, you might have actually had coronavirus yourself before and not even realised. Make sure you comment below if you've ever had a wicked common cold. We've currently identified 38 species of the coronavirus, not including the new novel coronavirus. But it's these novel forms, especially the ones that transfer from animals to humans, that are the most deadly because they're the hardest to control. It's amazing that bats likely spread coronavirus but don't get sick. But humans do get sick, real sick. So much for being the #1 species. What I want to know though is why is it called a coronavirus? Corona definition. Part of the body resembling or likened to a crown. CoVs, that's coronavirus, have an enveloped crown-like viral particle from which they were named after. Just learned something new? Smash like. Compared with other viruses, coronaviruses actually have a larger set of genes, which they believe helps them replicate more efficiently and more accurately. And it also gives them additional genes which can be modified in order to better infect the host. Well, that's coronavirus in a crown-shaped nutshell. But what about bats? First up, bats are the only mammals capable of powered flight. This means they can travel further, faster than other mammals, making it a lot easier to spread disease over a long distance. Something I didn't know is bats are actually the 2nd largest group of mammals, making up about 1/5 of all mammals. And they live all over the world. Bats also have 2 classifications, microbats and my favourite, megabats. If you think bats are getting a bad rap for spreading coronavirus, well, bats have actually been linked historically to many diseases, including rabies, Ebola, SARS, MERS, and SARS. Oh, but there's more. Bats have also been known to spread lesser known diseases such as Nipah, Hendra, Marburg, and Mengele. Bats actually carry more zoonotic viruses, that is animal to human viruses, than any other mammal on the planet. You can find almost all viruses in bats on nearly every country of the planet. Bats carry more than half the coronaviruses that can cause disease in humans. But there's still many coronaviruses that are yet to even be isolated from bats, especially in regions such as northern China where studies are actually less common. But don't get fooled into thinking outbreaks will occur in just China. It's just bats. China is heavily populated and bats and humans live in a very close proximity, which is why they often experience the outbreaks. Even back in 2019, a review of coronaviruses in bats found them in many provinces in China, including Hubei. Where have I heard that name before? But now you can probably see it's likely that bats could spread coronaviruses but don't get sick. But what's the mechanism behind all this? When a form of SARS was isolated from a bat, we could see the virus uses what's called the human ACE2 receptor, which means it could easily infect humans. This is actually some of the best evidence we have that SARS came from bats. ACE2 using coronaviruses quite often infect humans and are quite often found in bats. So the latest outbreak of novel coronavirus could likely be tracked back to the ACE2 receptor and bats. It's also believed that bats may have a slightly suppressed immune system, so their little fluffy vampire bodies don't react to viruses when they're carrying them around. They also think that bats might also have a special bat interferon, which is basically just a type of protein. Interferon just sounded heaps cooler. And this actually protects them from getting infected. Oh, and one more quote from the March 2019 paper before we stop. 2 bat-origin coronaviruses caused large-scale epidemics in China over 14 years, highlighting the risk of a future coronavirus outbreak in this nation. So that's it. Science says bats need to go. Comment below if you think bats should be gone. Be sure to smash like if you learned anything today, and click subscribe if you want more snappy science in your life. You've just been scienced.